So you're fasting, you're putting in all this work, and you think you're doing everything by the book. But the scale, it's just not moving. If that sounds familiar, you are in exactly the right place. Let's get into the fasting paradox. Right? I mean, you're skipping breakfast, you're chugging water, maybe sticking to just black coffee, and you're waiting for that eating window like you're supposed to. But that stubborn belly fat, it's not going anywhere. Your energy is in the tank, and that number on the scale is just stuck. It is so frustrating, and believe me, you are not alone in this. And this, right here, is the absolute heart of the problem. See, the truth is, there are these hidden things going on that can completely, well, sabotage everything you're doing. They can turn your fat-burning fast into just a frustrating waiting game. So what's really happening under the hood? Well, it all comes down to one incredibly powerful hormone that's acting like a master switch in your body. And trust me, understanding the switch is the absolute key to unlocking the results you've been fighting so hard for. Okay, so think of it just like this. The entire goal of fasting for fat loss, it's just to keep this insulin switch in the off position for as long as you possibly can. When it's off, your body can finally tap into its stored fat for fuel. But the very second it flips to on, that whole fat burning process just slams to a halt. And what's so wild is just how sensitive this switch is. I mean, your body is incredibly smart. Just the taste of something sweet with 0 calories can be enough to trick your brain into thinking, hey, sugar's coming. And your body, trying to be helpful, it preemptively shoots out some insulin to handle that sugar. And just like that, poof, the fat burning party is over before it even had a chance to start. Okay, so if just a simple taste can flip that switch, what are the common, totally innocent-looking things that are accidentally wrecking your fast? Let's dive into the usual suspects. Oh man, this is where so many people get tripped up. That 0 calorie sweetener you put in your coffee? Well, your tongue tastes sweet, and boom, insulin's on the rise. Those fruity-flavored amino acids you're sipping to get through the fast, your brain just registers sweet taste, and bam, there goes that insulin response. And yep, I hate to say it, but even that tiny little splash of milk or that small handful of nuts, it is absolutely enough to knock you out of a fat-burning state for hours. So here's the bottom line. The most important thing to get. During your fast, it's not about calories. It's about the hormonal response. To your body's insulin switch, any of those things we just mentioned sends one single loud and clear message. Stop burning, start storing. All right, but hold on. What if you're doing a perfect, clean fast? We're talking just water, black coffee, plain tea, and you're still not seeing results. This brings us to the second huge mistake, and honestly, it's just as critical. And this one has nothing to do with what you're doing while you're fasting, but it has everything to do with what you do when you finally eat. This right here perfectly explains the other half of the puzzle. Just think of your muscle as your body's fat-burning engine. It's what's burning calories all day long, even when you're just sitting there. The bigger and more powerful that engine is, the more fuel, and by fuel, I mean fat, you burn 24/7. It is literally the most powerful tool you have for long-term fat loss. And this is the vicious cycle, the dangerous trap so many fall into. See, if you're not getting enough protein or doing some kind of resistance training in your eating window, your body goes into this, primitive survival mode. It thinks there's a famine, so it starts sacrificing the expensive stuff, your muscle, to hold on to its fat stores for later. And with a smaller engine, your metabolism just slows to a crawl. Fat loss becomes almost impossible, no matter how perfectly you fast. You're basically teaching your body to get better at storing fat. How crazy is that? Okay, so we've laid out the two big problems: accidentally breaking your fast and letting your metabolic engine shrink. But here's the good news. The solution is actually incredibly straightforward. This isn't about fasting for longer or suffering more. It's about fasting smarter. How you end your fast is just as important, maybe even more important than the fast itself. So look at this. If your first meal is a bomb of sugar and carbs, cereal, juice, a pastry, your insulin just shoots through the roof. You're immediately back in fat storing mode, and you've basically undone all that hard work. But if you start with protein and healthy fats, you blunt that insulin spike, you ease your body back into eating, and you actually speed up your results. And look, this doesn't have to be some complex meal plan. We're talking about simple, powerful, real foods. Things like eggs, a piece of fish, or some chicken, or if you're plant-based, some tofu or a nice bowl of lentils. These foods give your body exactly what it needs to rebuild and refuel, but without that massive fat-storing insulin surge. You can always save your carbs for a little later in your eating window. So really, it all boils down to this super simple two-part plan. First, protect your fast. Be a purist about it. Keep that insulin switch locked in the off position. That means no sweeteners, no flavored stuff, no tiny little snacks. Just water, black coffee, or plain tea. And second, protect your engine. When it's time to eat, make protein your priority. Give your muscles the building blocks they are starving for. And do some resistance training, even bodyweight stuff at home counts, to signal your body to keep and build that precious muscle. And this right here is the ultimate takeaway. The goal is not to suffer. It's not to just white-knuckle your way through a process that isn't even working. It's about understanding the simple biology behind it all and making these small, smart tweaks that finally allow your body to work with you instead of against you. So by just avoiding these two really common mistakes, accidentally spiking your insulin and letting your metabolic engine shrink, you can finally break through that plateau and get the results you've been working so hard for. The only question left is, are you ready to finally make this work?